everyone, welcome to the first session of our Ops in Motion Marketing Ops and RevOps webinar series. I'm Aprajita and I will be your moderator today. Before we get started, say hello in the chat and let us know your name and where you're joining from. We'd love to see who will be joining us today. Now, coming back to the session, we started this series because many of us work on different pieces of marketing operations, GTM, revenue operations, but we don't always get the opportunity to understand how it all gets connected together. In today's session, we will see what go to the market actually means and why it is more than just launching a product or running a campaign. How operators play a key role in turning strategy into execution. Now, without further ado, I'd like to invite Kawal Kour, who will be leading today's session. Kawal, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Aprajita, for the lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Kawal. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Digital DI Consultants. Over the years, I've got the opportunity to work in marketing operations, revenue operations, CRM strategy, helping businesses improve alignment, streamline operations, and drive predictable growth. I'm excited to have you all with us today, and I hope you all enjoy this session. Let's get started. Aprajita, do you want to share your screen? The slides? Yeah, we have it here. Okay, I can see it now. Sorry, I was not able to see. Let's move on to the agenda. We know the topic for today is GTM for operations, and we will see like how we can turn these strategies into execution.
Let's go.
Sure. So today on the agenda we have what really GTM means and what is GTM does and how it helps us. Can you move on to the next slide, Aprajita?
Uh, I think my system has for some reason.
Okay,
So let me reshare it.
sure.
By the way, what do you think about the agendas? Like, what exactly are we going to cover? Think use.
Yeah, so as I was talking about, we are trying to understand more about GTM. How do we build the foundation? What are the tech stack GTM utilizes, and how different teams comes together? What is the operating model, and what is the customer journey look like when it comes to GTM operations? And what is the engine that drives GTM? I think data is the engine, and we'll talk more about all of these things in the next slides. And we also have AI in operations, which is very important. We have been talking about AI agents, and how do we utilize it? How do we make our work better, or cut down on repetitive tasks that we actually do every day? And also looking at GTM transformation. Okay, let's dive into what really GTM means today, right? So imagine a situation, or you are like a COO in a company, and your CEO says, okay, we need to double down revenue next year. And marketing says, like, let's increase our ad budget. Sales is like, let's hire more SDRs. And customer success says, how can we reduce the churn rate, the existing one? And the operation says, let's implement AI agents. Now, question to you, audience, is like, who is right? What do you think about it? To me, I believe everyone is, because GTM isn't owned by any one department. It is how every department works together, aligned, and make that revenue engine work. So GTM is that operating model and not just a product launch. Many people hear the word GTM or go to market, and they often think about launching a product or a service or running a marketing campaign. While those are certainly part of GTM, but they're only small piece of that overall picture or the equation of GTM. GTM strategy actually defines how a business attracts, acquires, serves, retain, or grow customers. It covers the entire customer lifecycle, not just the product launch. Think of GTM as a blueprint, how your business generates revenue. It determines like who are your ideal customers, what value do they offer them, and how you reach them, how do you convert them into customers, and how do you retain and expand those relationships over the period of time. Very important. GTM helps connect every customer facing team. So one of the biggest misconception that we have is GTM belongs to the marketing team. In fact, GTM is a cross functional effort involving multiple teams like marketing, sales, customer success, and operations, and each team playing a critical role. While all of these teams work in silos, the customer experience could feel that friction. But when these teams work together, the customer experiences a seamless and connected journey. Now, connected and seamless journey means marketing created awareness, and customer interacted with sales. Sales were aware of the messages that marketing sent, and when customer was handed off to the customer success team, they were aware of marketing sales messages, the demo that they received, the discounts or the interactions that the sales and marketing had. So they were all talking the same language. There was no disconnect. Customer feel confident, so they believe in the journey, they believe in the organization, which is really important. And GTM success depends on alignment, data, and process. Alignment is like every team in the organization should work towards shared revenue goal. Data powers every GTM engine or the decision that we take. Processes create that consistency. So I would say automation can only improve a process that already works. But you have to have all of these things together for your GTM engine to work and get the success that you're looking for. Now, how do we build the GTM foundation? Let me,
Trouble.
yeah, yes.
Before we go to the next one, actually,
Okay.
we have got a one interesting question. Which do you think is hardest to get right first? Alignment, clean data, or repeatable processes?
Okay, I would say data, because data would help you in making those decisions for your processes or for your alignment. If your data does not have all the details, you would not know which particular alignment to choose, which department should focus on what. And you might be misleaded by different decision that you might take. You might take wrong decisions on the sales side or marketing side, or it is not right if your data is not right. I can just give an example. If sales is trying to follow up a customer and the industry is missing, the personas are missing, that would be misleading. They do not know like this persona is from which what persona this candidate or customer belongs to, and that makes it very difficult for for the sales team to follow those customers. They cannot prioritize. So that's why data is really important. And again, once the data is good, you can align between the different teams. You can have ownership, you can have SLAs, define like after 2 days of the customer onboarded, customer success should give them all of these details. And when the marketing is creating awareness, at what point of time sales should interrupt and start responding, interacting, or following up for a call. So all of these things are really important. And once you have the data, you can have the alignment, you can have the processes there in place. So I would start with the data. I think that's the most important piece here.
Okay, I think if I understand it correctly, so basically you're saying that if the data is not correct, they might be looking for a shoe and we are selling them first.
Yes, that could be possible. Or you might have an opportunity that's going to be like closed in a day. But then since you don't have all the details, you don't have the interest, you don't have the source, you don't have the urgency that the customer have to buy your product or service. If you're not aware of that, you might lose them and competitors might win them. So that's why it's very important to have the data right.
Oh, hopefully we have answered your question. So yeah, keep them coming. Shall I go to the next one?
Yes, please. Let's look at building the GTM foundation. So imagine you're building a house, right? So when you're building a house, you would like to have the construction done, and there's a lot of things in place before you even think of interior designing or having those furnitures get into the house. So many of the organization, what they do is they would like start buying furniture. So tools are like the furnitures that you have into your house. So they even start buying furniture before even the completion of the construction of your house. So I mean, these scenarios or these kind of situations are not good for the organization, because they might buy CRM, they might buy AI tools, or they might buy automation tools, and they might start reporting and analyzing the data. But you've not defined your ICP, you've not defined the processes, you've not defined the ownership, you've not defined what data sets are important for each of these teams. So when you're doing that, it's going to be misleading. You're not going to get those results that you're actually looking for. So it's very important to have your ICP defined, your processes, your ownership and data, and then look at buying all of these tools. So that's what we would be looking at building the GTM foundation. So as I mentioned, many of them rush towards buying the tools, but that's not the right thing to do. So let's look at the 6 building blocks I think every organization should focus on before even trying to buy a tool or certain processes. They should define their ICP and buying personas. Everything in GTM starts with knowing who you're trying to serve. Your ideal customer profile describe the type of company that gets the most value from your product or service. Now, mapping the customer journey. The customer journey extends far beyond the first interaction. So it's not just the time the customer interacted and the journey ends. No, that's when the journey starts. They are introduced to your product or service and they would like to show interest, they would consider, they would have the evaluation, then decision making, and then they would like to buy. Then, once the customer journey is set, you might look at designing the CRM architecture. Now, CRM architecture is really important. You should reflect how it helps your business operate. It's more than just a place to store your contacts. You need to have the contacts which is talking or connected to your accounts, to your deals, to your opportunities. So all of these connections has to be there, because if your contact is sitting standalone somewhere and it is not connected to your account, your deal, it would be a misleading reporting or analysis if you're trying to understand something on account perspective or something on an industry perspective, right? So you need to define your CRM architecture with all of those things in a line. And now, alignment of ownership and SLAs. One of the biggest reason GTM break is unclear ownership. Now, marketing has created awareness. Sales is not aware at what point of time they should intervene and take up that interaction to the next level. And once sales is completed their interaction and they have bought the deal, they've signed it, sometimes customer success is not aware of at what point of time they should pick up that interaction from where. So that's why it's very important to have that SLAs defined and ownership defined, like at which stage marketing, sales, customer success team is going to intervene and take care of the customer journey. Defining minimum required data. Now, what information must be in a place for a lead to move to the next stage? For example, marketing has these form filled out from the customers. Now, think of like sales is looking for some specific information. For example, they're looking for source that got that. And then you have the scoring. What is the intent of that customer to buy? And what is the engagement that the customer have with our current campaigns or inbound activities? So all of these things are really really important for us to make that decision. So all of these information should be captured in a way that all of these things helps the teams that is working in this customer journey. Think of data as a fuel that powers your GTM engine. Without a clean and a complete data, even the biggest strategy won't perform. Let me ask you a question. Like, how many of you have started documenting your ICP life cycle stages or customer journey? To be honest, when I started my career, I was not a big fan of documenting any of these things. I just learned through the process that it's very important to document, because there are different teams, there are different handoff, there are different things that happen in this customer journey. Let's look at it from the customer perspective. They should not feel disconnected. They should have a seamless interaction with all of the team. The handoff should be in a way that they should not feel that they've been handed off from one team to another. It should feel like they're connected and all of these are part of one team. So I did not start documenting it. So when I mean maybe 10 years before the line, I mean 10 years before this before today, I just recall that okay, documenting all of these things are very important, because if someone is leaving the organization, the other person who's joining should be aware of that. And also the marketing should be aware what sales is doing, and sales should be aware what marketing is doing, right? So it's really important to have them documented.
Actually, I can say about for myself, I have also not started documenting like right away,
I know.
but when I did start it, now I can't stop because it has saved me a lot of times, a lot of miscommunication, and there is a visibility with documentation that
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
you just cannot deny.
Yeah, I cannot, I mean, I can agree to it for sure, 200%, not even 100%, because when I look at my documents, it really helps me understand like what is the next step that I can take for this process, for, this kind of tool that we have integrated, we have this interactions with the customer, what do we do in the next stage? So all of this really connected, it really helps you to grow and also to grow your organization. It's really important. Couldn't agree more.
Okay.
Okay, we can look at GTM operating model. So, where do we think like customer usually experience friction?
Mm. Nice question.
Uh,
Can you give some?
I think most of them happens at handoff. Uh, I can think of a scenario like, many a times marketing generates a lead. Sales follow up 3 days later because they're not aware of the ownership and the SLA. Customer, buy the product or service. When the customer success team onboard them, they have no idea what sales promised. Now, operators are trying to fix this handoff by aligning the team, the messages, collecting the relevant data. It's really important to have that kind of process set within the organization. Now, let's look at the GTM operating model. What is GTM operating model? So, GTM operating model defines how your revenue team works together to execute your growth strategy. It's a framework that aligns marketing, sales, customer success, revenue operations, sometimes product marketing, also around the common goals, clear responsibilities, and standardized processes, which is really, really important. And many organizations have a great GTM strategy, but execution fails because every team operates independently. An effective operating model eliminates those silos, team working in silo. It's not good. So there are like different ways to look at it. What we should do is we should have those roles defined as was talking about it by clearly defining who owns which stage. MQL is like marketing, SQL is like sales. Okay, it's understood by the term, but it's really good to define them so that everyone is clear about it and document it. Write it down on a piece of paper. Start by writing in a document, and once you see it, you feel it, you can understand how good and important it is for the entire organization, for the customer journey. Always think about the customer journey. Do not look at it from any department perspective. It might not be helpful. So everyone should know what they own, when they own it, and how success is measured. Very, very important. And standardizing handoff. One of the biggest causes of revenue leakage is poor handoff between team. Many a times what happens is customers sign the deal, but they feel disconnected. They're like, I'm not getting the confidence. Wait, I need some time to think about it. So you may lose on those deals. So think of handoff as a relay races. The baton should be dropped on between the teams, right? They should be given off like it's like a complete race. You're not breaking it out in between. And establishing SLA, as I was saying, SLA define expectations between team. Sales must contact, for example, look at this. Sales must contact MQL within 24 hours. So they know this is my SLA. I need to do this between this time period. Marketing must enrich every inbound lead before routing. And customer success must schedule onboarding within 3 days of deal closure. Very important. So this set the expectation between the team and set you right of to success, right? So SLAs create that consistency, ensure customers receive timely responses throughout the journey. Now, building accountability, very important. A GTM operating model transformed disconnected team into coordinated revenue engine by defining ownership, standardizing processes, and creating accountability. What is the outcome of this? Why are we doing so much, right? We feel at some point of time. That is because it helps you in faster execution, better customer experiences, improved operational efficiency, and more predictable revenue growth. Again, very important. It looks small, but then when you look at the overall picture, it's really important.
We have got one question.
Mhm.
According to you, what should be an ideal SLA? Or is there something called an ideal SLA?
There's not an ideal SLE. Again, it would vary from organization to organization and the processes that they have within the organization. It's about having teams aligned. Marketing understand like, okay, I've sent a campaign today. I should give 2 to 3 days for the customer to respond. And then after that, what kind of responses I'm looking at. And they understand the responses and they set the SLAs. Okay, fine. After 2 days or 3 days, this happens, and then we send this guide, and then we send. And once we see this kind of response, we should be handing it over to the sales, and then it becomes MQL, and sales start following up, right? And at what point of time, sales get all the information, and sales feel that okay, this customer is ready to buy, signs off, and the deal is completed. They should have an SLA between them and the customer success, like when you should start the onboarding. It's not that the customer deal is signed and you start onboarding, right? We should give them time, and also they should feel connected. A customer should not be following up, okay, when am I doing onboarding? It happens many a times. So that should not be the case. I would suggest them to have integration between different teams within the organization. Very important. Hope that
I
answered the
mean, totally
question.
agree. Yeah, I mean, if as a customer I have to go and check where, then that's
Yeah.
not a good experience at all.
Yes, yes. It
Yeah,
throws them off,
yeah,
right?
really.
Yeah. Okay, we
So yeah,
can.
I think that answers the questions.
Okay, let's move on to tech stack. Okay, that's one of my favorite subject. I would say tech stack, right? Do you think buying tools? Most of us think that okay, if I buy an automation platform, the new one, the new shiny tool that's out there in the market, people are talking about it. People are doing great job with it. I'm going to run my business and it's going to help me grow enormously. No, that's not going to happen. You can buy best of automation platform, best of CRMs, best of outreach tools, or analytical tool, but that's not going to help you in business growth. The answer is like technology follows the process. Technology always, or tools always, enable the GTM strategy and not define it. So one of the biggest mistake we make sometimes is believing that buying more technology will automatically improve the GTM performance. I've seen many organizations having like 30 plus tools in the tech stack, and yet they struggle with lead quality, slow sales cycle, inaccurate reporting, duplicate data, disconnected customer experiences. I mean, there are like core components of GTM stack. We should always keep them in mind. Number one is your CRM. Your CRM is very important. It should be able to answer questions like who are your customer? You should have your ICP defined. What opportunities are active? Where are prospect in the buying journey? For that, you need to have a proper customer journey. And who owns each account? So these CRMs are not just like contact bases. It is important to keep all of these information in there so that you can take your decision based on that. And marketing automation. So, marketing automation platforms help you automate email sending, engagement tracking. The performance platform handles many repetitive marketing activities like email campaign, lead nurturing, lead scoring, and then you have customer segmentation. So, marketing automation platform can help you deliver the right message to the right person at the right time. And then you have sales engagement tools. Now, sales engagement tools are also important to help convert that interest that a customer showed into conversations, right?
Yeah,
Look at,
makes sense.
yeah, we can, I think, move to the next slide.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, the previous one, sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't see there was a lag, sorry. So data enrichment. So data
yeah.
enrichment platform improve the quality of customer records by adding and validating information. So it helps you in better segmentation, improved routing. And then looking at business intelligence and analytics. Every GTM team needs visibility into performance. Without performance, without seeing your data properly, without understanding or doing an analysis on what you're doing right now or what you're doing today is not going to help you to grow in future. So analytical tools bring together data from multiple systems and answer questions like which campaign generate pipeline, where are deals getting stuck, which territories performs best, which channel generates the highest ROI. Look at it, it's very important for all of us to understand, right? All the teams that are working together should get this information so that they understand the customer journey and they understand the process that being set is working the right way. Very important. And customer success tool, obviously the customer journey doesn't end when the deal closes. The customer success platform help organization onboard customer, measure product adoption, and prevent the churn rate. And I think many organizations build a tech stack in this manner. We need a tool for this process. Let's buy another tool. Get this new integration completed. Let's buy another subscription that can help us. Then the result is another disconnected system. So I always say that look into your process, build that alignment between the teams, and then have these SLAs and ownership, everything in place. And then you can look at the results and analysis. That would really give you a good understanding of what you're doing today and what you should change to make it better tomorrow. And this can, of course,
Um,
help you. Go ahead, Aprajit.
yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt there. But yeah, I mean, That's so true, right? Like we just keep on buying stuff because we feel like, okay, this is the solution, and maybe the previous one is not working.
Yeah.
And yeah, but actually, we also have one question here.
Okay.
What decide whether a new tool belongs in top funnel or down funnel?
Okay.
I mean, what exactly are the tools that you're going to use for a marketing automation, and what are the tools that you might prefer for customer success and intelligence tools?
Right. So, understanding the tool belongs to the top of the funnel or the bottom of the funnel, it's important to understand what the tool is doing, right? How it's going to help the organization, what process it's going to, solve for us, or how it's going to solve the problems that we have right now. So, understanding that will help us connect like it's going to be the top in the funnel or bottom of the funnel. Again, some of the tools like Salesloft, that would be a sales tool. Then we have Marketo, HubSpot, that's the automation tool, right? So looking at those tools and understanding and weighing, you'll be able to understand which part of the funnel does it fit into.
Got you. I hope that answers your question, Rajesh. Yeah.
Okay. We can move to the next one, that's designing the customer journey. Again, an interesting topic. So
Yeah, totally.
yes. So let's look at this example. A customer clicks on a website link, download an ebook, and after some time, she books a demo. Then she purchases a product or the service that she demoed for. Now she was onboarded, then she has renewed it. So how many system do you think Sarah has touched? She has been on the website. She's been on this customer relationship management tool. She has been on Map marketing automation platform. She has been on the sales tool. She has been on the customer success tool. And then there was a reporting with a lot of analysis done on that customer. So you can see one customer has touched so many tools, so many processes, and everything inside the system, inside that GTM engine, not one particular tool, the entire GTM engine. And all of these teams were connected, were helping that customer to be successful. So this is why operations or operators matters, because every company has customer, but not every company has a designed customer journey. It's very important to design that customer journey. Many organizations have excellent marketing campaigns, talented sales team, and dedicated customer success managers. Yet, customers still experiences inconsistent communication, delayed responses, or disconnected handoff. Why? Because every department is focused on their goal instead of entire customer journey. Again, customer journey is very important. But what is customer journey? How do we define it, and what do you feel about it? Personally, me, I think customer journey is every interaction a prospect or the customer has with the organization from the moment they first hear about you until they become a loyal advocate talking about your product or service. Every interaction should feel connected, uh, regardless of which team the customer is interacting with. So the modern GTM customer journey has few stages like the awareness. This is not very different from what customer journey we usually have, but I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. Awareness, this is where the potential customer first discover your business. They get to know about it from the marketing. Marketing has created that awareness about your organization, the product and the service, so they know about it. Then consideration. This prospect now understand the platform and begin evaluating the solutions that you have, created awareness for. Might be they have seen a campaign, they might have downloaded an ebook, and they have seen all of these information that you've shared with them, the marketing had shared with them. And the decision, the prospect enters the sales process at this stage. It tries to understand, okay, having the discovery call, having the demo and negotiation, and all of those processes goes within the sales with the customer. Now, onboarding. Many companies think GTM ends when the contract is signed. But actually, this is where the customer success begins. Customer success goals are help customers realize value quickly. So they should feel the value of your product and service after they buy your product from you. And adoption. It's very important after they've bought the product. There are scenarios wherein customers has brought the product, but then they don't feel like it's the right product that they've got, or maybe there are some teams who do not like using it, or they are not well versed with it, they have not adopted it right completely. So the customer start using your product and service regularly, it's really important. So the customer success team is there to see that okay, customer is comfortable, and is adopting the product, because that would be helping you in renewal, or having those growth opportunities with the existing customer. Otherwise they're going to be a dead end with them. And expansion, as I was talking about, having those best growth opportunities with the customer. And then again,
Okay.
renewal. Yeah.
Prabal, you have explained all these stages and how the customer journey is going to look. But how do we define the success of each of these stages? Like, is there any criteria? I mean, that
Yes.
would depend on the business, but still, like some basic that they can check.
Sure. So I have those. What I do is I have created those checklists for me. Like, every stage you enter, you should have these questions asked. Like, I do that with my team and with the organization that I work with. Who owns it? Like, who owns these stages, like marketing, sales, customer success, or is it operation? Which systems are involved? Is it the customer relationship management tool? It's the marketing automation? It's the support tool? It's the customer success tool? Or is it the analytical tool? And what data should be captured? Very important to understand what information should be captured at this stage, so that the next team is able to understand and process and get aligned with the customer journey, right? So don't just collect everything. Understand or collect the data that enables better decision. And what should happen automatically? There are some of the processes that we can automate, and there are some processes at which someone should be looking at, right? They cannot be just automated. They can be automated, but it would be misleading and not good for, and it's not going to set you for growth. So you need to understand what you should set it up automatically, like the handoff, notification, task creation, and lead routing, etc. So many organizations optimize department, but very few look at the overall picture to optimize the customer journey. And that's the differentiator between the successful company and the one that is trying to be successful. Hope that answers the question.
Understood. Yeah, I really hope that answers it. And yeah, I think I stopped you when you were trying to explain the very important and last stage, that was the renewal. Yeah, could you explain a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So, renewal is the stage when your customer has adopted, and it's even more profitable than acquisition. Why? Because you have spent that amount of time and money in acquiring that customer, and that customer is already there. Renewal is not going to cost you a lot in terms of spending the time that you have to spend, that all of these department has to spend to get a new customer. So I feel renewal is important, and that would happen only when the adoption is being done and they're comfortable using the product or the service that you have sold them, right?
Hmm. Understood. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, retaining someone is a
Yes.
lot more tougher than actually getting a
Yes.
new customer.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's really true. Okay, let's look at it from this perspective. Imagine someone attends your webinar. What should happen? Contact should be created. Original source should be captured. Life cycle should be updated. Lead score should be increased. And owner should be assigned. There should be a follow up email sent. And sales should be notified. There should be a dashboard which updates the information, and customer journey continues. So you can see a lot of tasks that happens when someone interacts with you or starts that journey with you. So these small things, these repetitive tasks, these automated tasks can really help you or your customers set that journey within your organization with your business, and they would really love the seamless or connected system that they will have to go to. So customer, don't see your department, they experience the operations behind that, right? All of these teams coming together and helping them, that's really leave an impact on the customer.
Uh, I think that answers also one question that we have. At who owns the GTM customer journey and what stage and which teams? But I think your explanation was already answered. But do you wanna go over it one more time?
um I mean, every stage has that defined. So when you're looking at different stages, there's like awareness, consideration, and decision and onboarding. So all of these teams are clear, like at what point aware I'm going to take over, and at what point sales is going to take over, what point the next team is going to take over. So it's all about understanding and having those connections and having those processes between them within the organization.
Um, Understood.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go to the
Let's
next one.
move. Yes,
Data is the engine, right? Yeah, we covered
yes,
this. Yes, data is
yes.
engine. Let's look at another example. Imagine you're driving a high performance sports car. It's an incredible engine, the latest technology, and an experienced driver. But then you fill it with contaminated fuel. No matter how powerful the car is, it won't perform the way it's supposed to. The same principle applies to GTM. You have great strategy, you have best in class technology, experienced sales and marketing team. But it's going to not work the way you want it because of the engine, because of the data that you have it. So data powers the GTM engine. It's very important to have that right data. Look at it from team's perspective. Marketing relies on accurate data. They build audience segment based on the data what's there in the system, and they can personalize campaigns. And sales depends on data to prioritize lead, understand account history, prepare for the meetings. Customer success uses data to monitor adoption, identify churn risk. And without reliable data, customer success become reactive instead of proactive. So that's not helpful for the organization. Leadership. Now, executive use dashboards to answer questions like, are we on track to hit our targets? Which market are growing? Now, some of the common data challenges is every organization faces similar issues having duplicate records. One customer appear multiple times. There are different teams updating different records, different information. There's missing data, like having no industry value or no lead source. Nobody's sure what was the origin of this contact or the customer. There's inconsistent data. Some marketing writes United States and sales says USA or US. So that's going to be difficult for the marketing team when they are building those automations, and also for the sales to understand completely, right? Especially the automations, it would be difficult. So need to have those things right. And governance matters. One of the biggest misconception is that data quality is the CRM's responsibility, but it's not right. Data governance is an organizational discipline. It helps, it answers questions like who owns this field, who can edit it, what values are allowed, is it mandatory, how often it is reviewed, which system is the source of truth. So without governance, every department creates its own version of truth, and that's not helpful. Now, standardizing your data is also really important because it creates consistency. Imagine you have a drop down field instead of free text field. So you can build on it, you can have filters, you can have automation working on it, you can run your AI agents on it, right? But if a free text field, you do not have an idea like what would be there in most of the fields. You might know what information is being captured, but you do not know the convention of it, how it has been framed, how it has been added there. So building trust in your CRM is it's really important because CRM becomes the database. It's not the database because it's help you in decision making, right? So it helps you in making those decisions for the organization for different teams. So building trust in the data is like as important as collecting it. And we always
Well,
say, right, garbage in, garbage out. Yeah.
yeah. Well, actually, we have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be an ideal scenario to have your data be as accurate as possible. But is there a way that we can reduce the inaccuracy at the source? That means, like, if we have different tools, and we are syncing into our CRM, is there a way or practice that we can follow so that before the sync itself, we know that, okay, the inaccuracy would be as minimal as possible?
Okay, to do that, you need to set those standard fields. For example, country value is going to be the complete name of the country, or it's going to be the short abbreviations of two letter or three letter, and how you're going to use the personas. Personas are going to be like complete. You name it out or you spell it out completely, or you're going to use the short forms. So that has to be defined within the organization between different teams, and maybe have those restrictions like somebody cannot just go and enter into the details they want. Utilize the drop down wheels, that's really good because it helps you keeping the data standardized. And once you do that, when you have those integration built, build those rules that if something is coming out with this information, maybe spell it out like this, or change it to this, or maybe do not allow them. So something like that. So that would really help. And I think most of the operations or operators does that. So if you have any questions, you can talk to any of the operators that would be able to help you in detail about it.
Mm,
Okay.
well, yeah, thank you so much for answering that, Pearl. And the any other questions, we will try to answer them in our QA session as much as possible. So yeah, keep them coming, but hopefully we will be able to answer it.
Yeah, we'll
So
try
yeah,
to answer
let's
as
go
much
ahead.
as possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So organizations that treat data as a strategic asset, not just an operational task, build stronger customer experiences and make better decisions and scale with confidence, right? So all of these things would help you and set you for growth if you're able to follow all of these processes. I know it's very tough to follow all of these and keep that governance in place, but you're able to do it. That's really nice. Okay, we can move on to the next one, Aprajita. That's AI in GTM operations. Okay, so we've heard a lot about AI, right? But I think many organizations are asking questions like, okay, how can AI replace my work, right? Instead of that, they should be thinking, like, how can AI help our team make better decisions and execute faster? This is where GTM operations comes in and is helpful. What AI is actually changing. Think about GTM team have traditionally worked on, right? Marketing, create campaigns, sales updates, CRM record, operations build workflows. Leadership was looking for the dashboard and the report and analysis that they can see after all of these activities that has happened. So most of these work is manual. AI changes that. Instead of spending hours collecting information, I think team can spend their time acting on those insights or information that they get from AI and utilize AI agents instead to do some of the tasks. Marketing can imagine like AI helping a marketing team identify which audience segment converts the best, suggest the campaign improvement, and sales can look at having a salesperson finishes a customer meeting. So instead of writing notes manually, AI can summarize the meeting, update the CRM records, identifies next step, recommend follow-up actions. The salesperson spend more time setting, less time updating information. It's good for the organization and also for the salesperson. Operations, this is where I think AI becomes really exciting. Imagine logging into HubSpot every morning. Before you even open your CRM, an AI agent has already found duplicate records, flagged workflows that failed overnight, identified lifecycle inconsistencies, highlighted pipeline risk. So instead of reacting to problems, operations can become proactive in this scenario, right? So AI agents are like next evolution of GTM operations. I think most of us are utilizing them in some of the platforms. So traditional AI wait for the instructions, but AI agents continuously monitor systems. Think of them as digital teammates. They don't just answer questions, they perform the work, your repetitive work. That's a huge lift, a huge help. And AI readiness checklist would really help you. Before implementing AI, you should ask these questions. Is your CRM clean? Do we trust our data? Are our life cycle stages defined? Are workflows documented? Do we have governance in place? Very important. AI can create operation excellence. AI is not going to create operation excellence, but it can accelerate what you have on top of it.
That is actually a very good insight, Carl. Thanks so much.
Thank you. uh, I think we can move on to transformation. So throughout this webinar, I think we discussed about GTM strategy, technology, data, AI, and operations. But what does a GTM transformation look like in practice? A successful GTM transformation is about redesigning how the entire revenue engine operates. We can walk through this typical transformation framework like initial challenges. So every transformation starts with identifying what's preventing the growth. And some of them are like people, marketing and sales working in silo, unclear ownership process, inconsistent lead management, manual handoff, no lead life cycle, and data, duplicate records, missing customer information. And then coming to business like slow sales cycle, poor conversion rate, And looking at the, access this is like identifying the challenges, auditing the people, process, data, and technology. That's really helpful, because you need to understand time and again that the processes that you are following is helping the customer, is giving the customer a seamless and a connected journey, and also helping your team in building the revenue goal that you have set for yourself this year. And designing, of course, having those life cycle stages set, lead scoring set up, the process set up in a way that one team hand it off to another, and they take care of all of the processes that they should within their respective team, and having that clear cut handoff. Now, optimizing CRM and tech stack is also very important because it automates key processes. It helps you improve the data quality. Now, optimizing CRM, if you are not optimizing your CRM, there might be the things that you're doing which would be working last year, right? May not be working this year. So you need to make changes. You need to keep optimizing your tech stack. You need to keep optimizing your processes, understanding like which path, which route would be really helpful for you, and what is going to set you for growth, and how you're going to build that revenue model, or how you're going to reach the goals that you already have. And then again, measuring them, very important, because you have set spend a lot of time, set yourself the processes, the alignment, the ownership, and everything. Now you want to understand, like, after doing a lot of this work that I have done, or the time that I've spent over these kind of tasks and having those, connections, the journey, and all of that, how is going to help the organization, how are you going to build the revenue goal, how are you going to reach the business goals that you have set for this year. So again, the outcome would be having that alignment, having the clean data, having the efficient processes, and having those execution, which could be automated, which could be done by the AI agent, where in somewhere you can use AI's help to answer some of those questions, and having those predictable revenue growth. So that would be really helpful in having the transformation that you would be looking for in this GTM, in the modern GTM world. And I can think of a sample journey, like before we use you have like no defined life cycle, you have poor CRM adoption, then you have duplicate customer records, manual lead routing, marketing and sales misalignment, limited reporting. Now what has changed is designed and GTM operating model that helps you. Now, standardizing your CRM architecture. Now, build automation and workflows, implementing that governance that needs to be there between the team, within the organization. Improve the data quality, the data that you're collecting, the data that you already have, how you're enhancing it over the period of time. And connecting the tech stack. It's important to have the connection between the tools that's being used by different teams within the organization, and how the AI is going to drive that insights out of it. So, if all of these things are there, I think you can see the results, like having faster lead response, better sales productivity, improved reporting, and scalable revenue operations. That's really, it's going to be helpful for you. So, I think GTM transformation would be like creating an operating model where people, processes, data, and technology work together to deliver the predictable and scalable growth. I think technology enables transformation, and operation is going to sustain it. We also have, I think, a case study. Do you want to look at some of the questions, Aprajita, before we move on to the next
Yeah.
topic? Yeah.
So actually, we have got plenty of questions. So
Okay.
first of
Let's pick
all,
one.
yeah, someone is asking, out of the five outcomes listed, which one do clients care about the most? Revenue or clean data? That's a tough one.
Okay. So everyone works towards the goal. The goal is the revenue, right? They are more worried about that. But you need to have the outcomes that is like better alignment, clean data, efficient processes, and execution, fast execution in place to reach that goal. So I think most of us look at that, revenue goal, but then the important is having all these set right in a path for a customer to go, and also for the teams to be aligned. So if these are set in a path like A to B to C to D, I think it's going to be achievable. And of course, the most important one is predictable revenue.
Hmm, actually, so does that answer your question? Oh, thank you so much, Joel. Shall we go ahead?
Yes, let's look at the case study that we put it, right? The use case.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that would be like a practical example of
Yeah.
what we are looking at.
Right. So there's a fast growing B2B company who has aggressively invested in the top tier tech stack, expecting rapid acceleration. The challenge that company is facing is they have invested in CRM, marketing automation, sales engagement, data enrichment, AI, but the results are not improving. So what's going to happen? I was looking at it and I was working on it at some point of time. Then I try auditing all of the tools, and I was trying to understand what's the disconnect here, right? So I found like there was no clearly defined ICP. There was inconsistent life cycle stages. There were poor CRM data quality. There were unclear ownership across the team, and of course, it's going to lead to disconnected customer journey. And leadership did not trust the reports because all of these teams are presenting reports in a different manner with the different numbers. So that's not going to build the trust. So after implementing some of the changes that was done on these organization site was like defining the ICP, mapping the customer journey, standardizing the life cycles stages of the customers, and then designing the CRM and then improve data quality and aligning all of these themes that we were talking about. Only then I think the automation and AI can deliver the value. And what we saw was the business outcome was better lead quality, faster lead response, improved team alignment, and there was trust in the report that was built. So leadership could, confidently look at the report and say, okay, these are the numbers that I'm looking at, and it leads to be, it seems to be syncing between the teams, and all of these teams are talking the same language. They are giving me the same numbers, so they were happy with it. So I feel as technology doesn't fix broken operations, it amplifies them. So build the right foundation first and then try to scale the technology and have people, process, and data and AI, all of them working together to help you grow. So this was the case study.
Okay. Actually, about this case study, we have got one question itself.
Okay.
Can we go with that?
Yeah, sure.
Which attribution model is generally used for all types of marketing campaigns? Oh, and actually, what is your favorite? We are asking for that.
Okay, so if I look at the attribution model, there are different ways, there are different methods, and there are different terms for it. It goes by tools also sometimes, and there's no set attribution model that you can follow for marketing reporting, but it's you should go by different metrics. So if you're looking for understanding your campaigns in detail, you need to go for one model that sets you right. You cannot have last touch, first touch, or just multi touch everywhere, right? You cannot blindly follow them. You need to have these attributions set per your processes, per report. It has to go by report. You cannot have it like set standard. Okay, I'm going to follow the last touch, or I'm going to follow the W shape model or the curve that's there in the attribution. That looks awesome to me, and it's going to give me all the results. That's not going to happen. You need to have those attribution model per report. Very important.
Hmm. I think you have been saying this for this whole session that first we need to understand the process and then we need to decide what works best for you.
Yes.
So it always going to vary.
Yeah, it does. Because look at it, right? A startup would have different processes. They work in a different way. And a company like enterprise, which has like 2,000 employees, wouldn't work the same way, right? They would work in a different way. They have different set of customers. They have different ways of dealing with process. They have a huge team. So they have more processes and more alignments and all that is needed there. So obviously it's going to differ organization to organization.
Yeah, and based on that, the teamwork also is going to be changing, right?
Yes, of course.
Because
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
right.
Okay, let's move on.
I think we discussed the case study also,
Yeah.
the most of it.
So yeah,
Yeah. Again, the business outcome that we were talking about, like quality, speed, it's really important. That helps you build the trust.
So we have some questions, and feel free to share some more. So, Kawal, out of the five outcomes that were listed, which one do clients care about most? I think we have already answered this.
Yeah, we did.
So let me change some. Okay. I think we have covered it all, Kawal. I think we are on fire, I guess.
Okay, that's good.
So,
Happy to answer these questions.
so I think this would be the end for this wonderful session that you have given us. And we hope our audience have gotten a good insight.
Yeah, I hope so. They enjoyed the session. And thank you, Prajita, for being a nice moderator and streamlining all of these conversations that we had with the audience today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who's listening to it.
Thank you.